that happened to coincide with each of these events. And it was interesting that 20 minutes before the North Tower got its holes, where they started trending off of where, the average of where they've been. And the NIST report, the seismic station, and I think the 9/11 Commission all report a slightly different time for when the North Tower got its hole. I won't say hit by a plane because I'm not making assumptions. When it got its plane-shaped hole. And I like to joke and say, I can tell you which one's right.
Oh, my.
Based on the magnetometers. It's between two of the three.
What do you mean by St. Elmo's fire?
It's a phenomenon that occurs inside tornadoes. Also you hear some pilots talking about the electrical signal going over their airplane if they're flying through an electrical storm. But something quite interesting is that in our regular school books we don't talk about Tesla, in elementary school and high school, and we don't talk about tornadoes. Tornadoes are left a myth, or it's just storytelling, which I find is really weird. In tornadoes, there's a strange phenomenon that does occur in tornadoes. Remember about 3 years ago in Dallas-Fort Worth area, there were flying trucks.
Yes.
Just the trailers, not the engine, not the tractor part, not the front of it, just the trailers. No, there were no dumpsters up flying around.
And why is that?
I can see a similarity there with trailers and trailer parks. You know how tornadoes like trailers?
Yes,
trailer parks
seem to be attracted to them.
The same as toasted cars on 9/11. They're up on the truck trailers were up on rubber tires. They could build up a charge faster than they could discharge it. And I think the same thing is true with trailer parks. They're not as well grounded as a house. They're
oh, I see. Dr.
So
Wood,
they can build up a charge faster. Yeah, and you get levitation is one of the things. That's not wind lifting up those trailers.
It's levitation, not wind.
Yep.
Okay.
And electricity, magnetism, and gravity are all different sides of the same coin.
Dr. Wood, how long did it take you to do all your research and publish your book? And you mentioned at the top of the show that your original publisher refused to publish it and wouldn't give you your rights back. How long did it take you to do this?
Well, eventually I got them back, and I wasn't going to trust another publisher, and so I published it on my own with the financial help of some friends. And I also sell it essentially at cost. It's an expensive book.
It is, and it's worth it, and I've already bought it for a few friends.
Great.
Right now, before I get into other important questions that I have, where can folks go to buy this book, and how much would it cost them?
It's on Amazon or on my website, wheredidthetowersgo.com, or on Amazon. You just look for Where Did the Towers Go, or look for my name, Dr. Judy Wood. There's and the price is about $40 plus shipping, and often Amazon gives free shipping, so the price looks like it's $45, but that's what it costs with shipping.
Well, I got mine at Amazon, and it got here within 4 or 5 days, which quite surprised me. And
was it about that price, $45?
I paid $50, but I must tell you, I told you in an email earlier that I was going to buy it for $300 when I thought it was $300. It just
used ones are more expensive because they think that it's that's about the price of what a textbook would be. That's of that quality.
But speaking of a textbook, is this book in any colleges or universities?
Oh no, it should be.
Yeah, no
because
question.
It's a course in critical thinking.
It's a course in critical thinking. It's a course in political history. It's a course in science. It's a course in almost everything. It is so American. Okay, now I want to get...
But if you want to cover this up, you want to cover up what happened, you can't be doing that. What you do is anybody asking questions, you herd them into a group which is, poo-poos this.
Okay, now let's get to, Dr. Wood, let's get to this quickly. There's an organization called Pilots and Professionals for a New 911 Inquiry. If you Google that, you will see hundreds and hundreds of prominent politicians, architects and engineers and pilots and stewardesses asking for a new investigation. Then there are those who are involved with what they call the 911 Truth Movement. Why are they not holding up your book and applauding your work? And what was your reaction? Especially, I think the outfit that has most of the public's ear right now is Architects and Engineers for 911.
What I like to say is if they're, why are they calling for a new investigation? That what they're doing is admitting that they're incompetent to do one themselves. Because who's going to do it if it isn't engineers?
Oh my gosh! I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's
you have already done the investigation for them,
right? And many have said that a book is like holy water. What you flick on somebody to see if they're a vampire or whatnot. And it is really true. Why would somebody who's claiming to head up a quote truth movement, unquote, why would they lie about my book?
Okay, tell me how they lie about your book. And I
it's about laser beams from outer space.
Okay, no, hold it a second, because I was stunned when I heard that Richard Gage sort of denigrates your book. I was furious about it, but because I had enormous respect for the fact that he was developing this outfit with 1,000 members.
Oh, that's what you see. You're led to believe that, but you never really see so much. It's an image thing, and so people line up behind it because they think it's going somewhere. But when that group first came to be, he came on the scene after I was already publishing my work, and his website went up. The AE 911 Truth website went up 3.5 weeks after I submitted my request for correction to NIST.
Oh my!
And as part of their screening process, they have this team that vets people, and anyone who has anything to do with the name Judy Wood they're rejected from the group.
Why?
It's the only thing I could conclude. Except when I filed my federal key tam case, they wanted to get this into court. Well, I did, but nobody supported it. Almost nobody. 5 or 10 people maybe who supported it. Well, no one in the truth movement supported it, and without that support, the judges were free to sweep it under the carpet. As a matter of fact, the Court of Appeals acknowledged, they were respectful, they acknowledged they're ignoring the law to dismiss the case.
Oh my goodness gracious.
The lower court judge said he wasn't going to hear a case about who shot JFK or what landed on the moon, and he also claimed I was saying there were bombs in the building, among other things. It was not about my case.
Do you teach at a university now?
No, not now. I left that environment to do this work because somebody needed to do it.
Wow, goodness gracious!
And if I hadn't done it, it wouldn't be done. That's clear.
I just a passing thought that I have. You know what, Dr. Wood? I almost called you Judy. Forgive me, but I call you Dr. Wood because you are a teacher and you are a doctor, and I'm learning a lot, as we all are. This thought occurred to me as I held it in my hand that there was a time in the world when people were moved by books. Of course, Karl Marx with Das Kapital, it started a revolution in China and Russia, and Thomas Paine's Common Sense started the American Revolution. Sinclair Lewis with The Jungle, he cleaned up the Chicago stockyards and cleaned up America's food. And then Rachel Carson's Silent Spring made us aware of the environment. Emile Zola, Jacques, freed a wrongly convicted Jewish army officer in France.
Books are important.
They are important. But why is it we have this phenomenal book? Where did the towers go?
People prefer to be told their opinion. In a 5-minute YouTube video, they want to be told their opinion, and then they just repeat it over and over again. A lot of people have asked, will this ever be on an ebook or whatnot? And no, for several reasons. But one of the most important reasons is if you read the book, you will know why. And seeing my presentations, you don't get nearly what you get from the book. The book is a learning experience. In order to understand the material, you have to be deprogrammed to some extent to be able to see it. Otherwise, you just jump to the answer. You're arguing about your opinion about the answer without understanding how to look at things. Well, and it's vital that we learn how to look at things. So think about this. When you read the book, you're sitting on your sofa and you read a paragraph. You look off into space and you contemplate what you just read.
Yes.
You think about its implications. When you watch a video, you don't do that. When you scan on an electronic book, you don't do that.
That's true.
And this is vital for people to be able to think about things and to be able to contemplate what's going on in the world. And that is the difference. How did we get to where we are? It's because people have turned their thinking over to someone else's keeping. We need to take it back.
Well, my feeling is, and I hate to say it, the first most difficult thing to do is to get people to think. That probably won't happen. I don't know how the government did it or how the government engineered it, but they have dumbed down America beyond belief. And there is no longer any sense of community in this country as there was years ago. We had great labor movements. We had great social movements. We had great cultural. They're all gone. They will never reappear. And we're each like a little island unto ourselves, sitting in front of the computer and reading all this interesting, fascinating stuff, but we have no sense of community by touching hands and holding hands and meeting with other people to take action. But you know what? And I will tell this to anybody, as great as the book is, if you're just one of these people who likes to go things like Twitter, that's something in 2 or 3 lines, and God, that's great, or I love this Mark Twain quote, or that Shakespeare quote about love. If you go to the back or the end of Dr. Wood's book, you can read 43 facts that are irrefutable. And if you don't believe and understand those facts, you must shoot yourself because you're not worth being alive, honest to God. It is right there for you.
But we have a consensus group that has determined that she's full of it. Her space beams are full of it. What would you say to someone like that?
Well, there's no way that you can refute any of that stuff because that is opinion. It is not fact. That is emotional. That is not intellectual. So you have to discard that. Now we're going to go back to something that you barely hinted on. And I would like to add something at this subject you just talked about, kind of a secret to here, that what's going on in the world. Think of what defines a country. Borders.
Okay. Culture.
Yes.
Language.
Yes.
If you destroy those 3 things, the country is all done. So what does this, we're talking about the destruction of the culture. And not reading books and not thinking, not interacting with others.
Well, fortunately for the 1% who own this country, I mean, the 1%, they elect the president and they leave it to the 99% they select them, leave it to the rest of us to elect them like idiots. But they fortunately do not have to drop a bomb on the United States unless they were somehow involved with 911. They have done it. But they have done it to the rest of the world in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and Syria.
We could do a whole other show on that. And 9/11 is the very foundation for all that is happening now. People don't see it because they're only used to seeing direct cause and effect. They're not used to putting together what the whole picture is about. And 9/11 was an attack on human consciousness and a type of brainwashing. And until you